Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Seed World podcast. My name is Alex Martin, and I'm the editor of Seed World magazine. We've currently been covering some pretty heavy stuff about coronavirus or COVID-19 and about how it's affecting the global seed industry. We've talked about Italy, we've talked about Spain, we've talked about the Netherlands. We're going to be talking about the US as well. But to talk a little bit more about how it's affecting one organization in particular and their members, I gave in a call to Michael Keller, Secretary General of the International Seed Federation. Michael, it's great to have you today. Can you tell me, COVID-19 isn't something we've really had to face in our lifetime. How is COVID-19 affecting ISF, and how is ISF responding to it?
First of all, I hope you're next, and also you and my colleagues around the world are fine in this situation. Perhaps I will use some words I learned also in recent days, like a word like confinement. I think this was something unknown for us before. And I started to look for it when I heard from colleagues in countries around the world where they had to implement confinement measures before we did, here also in Europe. It's today a reality, and I urge really everybody to follow the policies in place in the different countries. I think the second one, and in general, I do not like exaggerations, but the word unprecedented. Yes, I think today we are facing something which is absolutely unprecedented. That means this is not an exaggeration. It's just a word describing, in my sense, the best what we are facing and what each of us in its family, company, association is facing, and also to learn, to work with, and to accept it. I think also it's time to reset priorities, also in a permanently, rapidly changing world. We are living in any case, but we have also to use this time perhaps to take more care about us, our next, on what we are doing, and to focus more on essential things. It is not like business as usual. And I think there's also the question about this rebalancing work life and private life. I think this is also time to check this. Yes, and also ISF. And with our colleagues, we have to review the way we are working remotely. But we have to partner, we have to bridge, we have to maintain, and we have to engage probably more than ever in these unprecedented times. See this life. And I think this is also the importance in these times, the recognition of seed as the starting point for the food supply chain in short, midterm, and long term. And I think, therefore, these are some key words, key items we need to have in mind within ISF, with our partners, when we are speaking about COVID-19.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Michael. This is completely unprecedented. And I know a majority of folks are now working from home. So from your end, you've already brought it up a little bit, but what has it been like switching from in-person meetings and working in person to working digitally for ISF?
I think it's perhaps, how could I say, we have some experience. ISF as the International Seed Federation, somehow to keep contact with our members, with our network, but also with our partners around the world. In any case, we were obliged to work in a digital way, to engage with everybody, everywhere, and in the right time. It means this is something we are used perhaps in our daily business. But one thing which I learned yet during the last days is the importance to know also the partner with whom you're working, the colleague with whom you're working, or the representative of international bodies.
Oh, and why do you think that's essential?
What is better than to have trust in the other person and to know how the other person is thinking? And you have even to have some joint memories of nice moments you had together. I think these are things which are helping us to continue the work in a digitalized world. On the other hand, it's clear also within the team today, we are now home based and working remotely since 2 weeks. And this means also, and I think this is important, it's somehow an intrusion of the professional life into the private life. Normally, I'm always saying within ISF, there needs to be every day a clear split between your work life and private life. You have to cut off. But now at the end, we have to reconcile the things. Each of us has to do it in another way. Some of us are living alone. Some are coming from far away. Some are with their family, like myself. That means now you have also your daily engagement with your family at the same time that you're working, because you cannot split the things like you would like. I think therefore we have also to learn to deal with this. And I think it's also a question of discipline, to build perhaps sometimes even more discipline and be more concentrated on the work you're doing.
Sure. Do you have any suggestions on how to work from home more efficiently or create that work life balance at home?
Within ISF, we introduced some simple measures to remain productive and balanced even during this quarantine time. Some of these are keeping a good routine and schedule, which includes also breaks, also phone calls. I think webinars should not be longer than an hour. If not, it's not more efficient. But we need also to avoid distraction and creating a work or a good workstation at home. On top of this, and I think that's really a tool we had used before and we are using more and more, we have an internal WhatsApp group, which helps us to be permanently connected. And sometimes even in these difficult times to perhaps send messages about other things than only about movement of seed in COVID-19 times.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Michael. Now, I know another piece of news we saw recently was that ISF made the decision to postpone the World Sea Congress in South Africa until 2022. How does this affect your members? And better yet, how do canceled conferences affect the global seed industry?
I think, first of all, the most important thing is what I mentioned before, that we can secure the movement of seed and in line with the vision of our sector to provide and make accessible quality seed everywhere. Or the International World Seed Congress, it's just one bit of this overall vision. However, it's clear to postpone the Congress. This was made in line with the rapid spread of COVID-19 and taking into account also the health and well-being of our members, delegates, sponsors, exhibitors, and staff. And this is clear, this was our absolute priority. And therefore, we were convinced also that the only responsible thing to do was to postpone the Congress. But we didn't cancel. And I think this is very important for me to highlight, because before also South Africa closed the borders, I had still on-site meetings 2.5 weeks ago now with our partners, with the service providers, also with our national organizing committee, the South African Seed Association, on how to deal with this situation. And this is also important to see that we were all at the same page. Our goal was, okay, we cannot organize the Congress this year, but we want to organize a Congress in Africa. We want to come to Africa because also the seed sector wants to provide quality seed to the farmers in Africa and to show our commitment to Africa. And I think therefore I would really to recognize here, this was a joint effort to find an agreement to postpone and not simply to cancel the Congress. Yes, the Congress is an important event in the Seed Wars calendar to do business, networking, discuss critical topics like seed movement, plant breeding innovation. Innovation probably more important than ever, genetic resources, illegal seed practices. But therefore also to continue this dialogue, we are currently investigating how we can build perhaps an important moment in June, like virtual meetings, to keep the dialogue open, to continue the engagement with our partners. On your second point, perhaps, what is happening with all the other meetings? Who can say today? Who has the crystal ball to say what will be impacted or not? I know potentially that we will have other meetings yet scheduled in August and September, which we will potentially postpone. But the scenarios, who can build them today? That means we are building options to postpone meetings. But I hope, and I'm crossing fingers, that other meetings where the seed folks at regional level are coming together can be organized, because we need to meet, we need to engage together. And we need also to provide to our members the opportunity for trading, because that's also the business forum. And that means when the people cannot meet, like during the ISF World Congress, where a trader or a seed company has sometimes 80 or 85 meetings during 3 days, these meetings, they need these meetings to prepare the business of the future, to think about how I can provide the best seed to the farmers. That means here we have really to think perhaps also out of the box, what can we provide in future? But I'm strongly thinking this will help us to foster together more and better our capacity for quality seed to the farmers.
I actually just have one more question for you today, Michael. Do you think COVID-19 is going to continue to change the way we do business going forward in the future?
I think no doubt. If you like it or not, the world will change. The world in which we are living will change, but I think fundamentally also potentially the business world will change. The crisis is today not over, but I think one thing needs to be clear for all of us. What we need in the future, we need to build together the frame of sustainable agriculture to overcome such situations. And therefore, I hope that in future, when we are not coming back to normal, but coming back to a situation where we'll sit together within international organizations or with our international partners, that we will have new dialogues, that we will have new visions to engage together and to find the best joint solutions. I think there is no time to lose. We need to move together. We are in an ever closer coming world. That means it's a small world, and COVID-19 is showing it to us. It's a very small world. Only together we can find the right solution for sustainable agriculture and food security.
Yes, I agree. Now is definitely the time to work together. Thank you so much for joining me today, Michael. We're going to connect with Michael one more time tomorrow to chat about the international movement of seed and how COVID-19 might affect seed trade. So be sure to join us tomorrow for another Seed World podcast. I'm Alex Martin, and thanks for listening. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.